As we look forward, what is it that we need to know about? What is it that we need to concentrate on? Where do we need to have our focus?
Denny, that's a great question. And let me take a step back, because for that individual who said the perfect storm is now morphed into total chaos, I might suggest that while it may not be total chaos, that the perfect storm is now of epic proportions, or, typhoon, full typhoon status. So let me just share some thoughts on why I tend to agree with what he was saying about total chaos. And that is, in the past, you've been able to take a look at what was occurring and do some scenario planning, some strategic planning, and say, based on what we're seeing, this is what's likely to occur over some extended time frame, whether that's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, you call it. What we are looking at, though, Denny, and this is something that I've been saying to a lot of different people when I've been asked, there are three things we're really trying to emphasize with people. The first point is we are in uncharted waters. So when you take a look at, well, let's plan for the next 6 to 12 months, there are so many variables that you can't get your arms around, that we've never seen before. As like I was talking with a dear friend of mine, another CEO of a rather large organization. And one of the things I was trying to highlight for him, or get his insights on, is what do you think's going to occur, based on what you're seeing? And his point to me was, there's no playbook we can go to, because this is so much different than what you, I, or any of the other people out there, what we've experienced. And so we need to keep that in mind. We're flying off the radar screen here. It's like somebody was recently telling me, the plane's up in the air and there's a lot of fog and there's a dense cloud covering, and we're trusting that we're going to get the plane down safely. But, right now we're flying by faith. So, first point is we're in uncharted waters. The second point that I'm trying to get people to at least consider is, while we've always talked about change, I mean, let's face it, people get tired of hearing about change. But what makes this such an unusual environment is the speed with which the change is occurring. So, for example, Denny, in July, we're looking at oil priced at $147 a barrel. And I mean, some people are predicting there's no end to how high oil can go. You had some of the financial firms saying you're going to see $200 barrel in oil. Now here we are less than 6 months later, Denny. 6 months, and we're seeing oil in the low 40s. And, we're seeing oil, now it's going up, and OPEC has said there's some drastic cuts coming in to try and firm up the price of oil. But that doesn't change the fact that in a 6 month period, less than a 6 month period of time, you've seen a drop of more than $100 in the price of oil, which is arguably one of the most important commodities. And then the third point, Denny, you've got the uncharted waters, you've got the speed with which the change is occurring, and then the third thing that I don't think we can get our arms around is what I call the malaise factor. And a lot of people would tell you that when 2001, September 11th hit, there was the admonition to go out and buy things, but for consumers to step up. Well, you have a lot of consumers now, and if they are in fact the engine that drives the economy, these people are sitting back and saying, I'm not going to do anything until I have a better understanding of where we're going. And I try to say to people, how do you answer that question? Where are we going? I mean, later on, I guess, I would welcome the opportunity to talk about, based on the recent election and the change in administration and the increased majorities in the Senate and Congress for the Democrats, what are some of the implications of that? How does it get played out? And not expressing it in the context of a for or against political party, but just what are some of the practical implications that shippers and carriers are going to have to deal with as we move forward in 2009 and on into 2010.
I'd like to visit that with you, maybe as a conclusion to what we do today. But one of the things that you have here is a real team. You got real bench strength. You've got people in specific areas, specific sectors of the marketplace. Some who focus much more on the shipper side than the carrier side. Some who are very carrier focused. LTL is a huge part of our transportation spend. The truckload side, the motor carrier side overall, is really a big part of where what shippers need to know more about. The other is the express market. This time of year, we know that there's been a huge impact with the DHL Express exiting the domestic marketplace. We've seen the increases that UPS and FedEx have brought into the marketplace, and so many carriers are looking to see if they can make gains. What I'd like to do is to visit with some of your folks,
Sure.
get a real specific insight into each of their sectors, and then maybe come back to you for a conclusion so that we can better see what you're suggesting, the Washington scene, how the political arena is going to impact or affect us, what the new legislation is going to bring, what new budgets, work programs that Washington looks like they're laying down, so that shippers and carriers alike will have a much better understanding. And I think that they then can take to their senior executives a great insight so that we can better understand the whole of how logistics will impact corporate America as we move down the road.
Great. Denny, I'd welcome that opportunity.